Academics are calling the term breastfeeding problematic because it endorses gender roles. Harvard researchers are saying that COVID-19 wouldn't have been so bad if the U.S. had just paid reparations. And professors across the nation are celebrating the death of Rush Limbaugh. I'm Ophelie Jacobson, and this is the Campus Countdown. We have a lot of crazy stories to get to today, so let's dive right into our number 3 story of the week. Academics and the so-called experts are back at it again, saying that the term breastfeeding is problematic because it endorses gender roles. Back in 2016, 2 medical professionals from the University of Pennsylvania and Johns Hopkins University published a medical journal in which they stated that the term breastfeeding caused a controversial set of values for family life and gender roles. Fast forward to 2021, earlier this year, Brighton and Sussex University hospitals in the United Kingdom eliminated the word breastfeeding and replaced it with chest feeding to be more inclusive to the transgender and LGBTQ community. Unfortunately, this is nothing new. The Leadership Institute's campus reform has been covering for years how our higher education institutions have been attacking basic biological facts. If you remember, we covered it in an earlier episode in the Campus Countdown. Harvard medical professionals refer to women as birthing people because, according to the so-called experts, not all those who give birth are women. And now we're seeing the same thing happen with the term breastfeeding. This is not only an attack on the very essence of womanhood, but it's a basic attack on biological facts. It's basic science that a woman's body is built in a unique way to give birth and to nurture that child through breastfeeding. And speaking of science, I'd also like to point out how the left has been calling for, Americans in this country to follow the science and to look at the facts, yet they seem to be the first ones to throw science out the window when it comes to being all-inclusive and non-offensive. The unique ability to give birth and to care for that new human being is a gift from God, but now, according to the left, it seems as if it's a curse. It's now unfair that only women are able to give birth and to nurture a child. That's just how radical the left's agenda has become. As a woman myself, I feel offended that the left is constantly trying to take away anything and everything that makes me unique as a woman. Science tells us that men and women have very different roles in this life, and society should be encouraging men and women to embrace their anatomy and their biology for what it is and for what they've been given. And it also makes you wonder, where are the feminists on this issue? Aren't they supposed to be celebrating and empowering women and encouraging them to embrace their bodies? Where are they on this issue? Shouldn't they be protecting a woman's ability, a unique ability to give life and to nurture for that life? And just when you thought things couldn't get any crazier, our number 2 story may do just that. Harvard researchers are now saying that COVID-19 wouldn't have been so bad if the U.S. had just paid reparations. Researchers at Harvard Medical School claim that reparations could have slashed coronavirus transmission by as much as 68% in Louisiana, had minority American households received as much as $850,000 each prior to the pandemic. The group of scholars led by Dr. Eugene Richardson and Dr. Momin Malik looked at differences in frontline work and overcrowded housing by race and used it to compare Louisiana, a racially and socioeconomically diverse state, with South Korea, a more racially and economically homogeneous country. Richardson and Malik proposed a reparations plan for descendants of slaves in the amounts of $800,000 per household or $250,000 per person, which they claim could have lessened the spread of coronavirus by helping eliminate the racial wealth gap. Once again, this is nothing new for our colleges and universities. A new Virginia bill proposed an exclusive reparations scholarship for descendants of slaves. Another professor said that American institutions must give reparations to target the places where the pain is, and a student government entity voted on giving blacks free tuition as reparations. The question is, who is going to pay for these reparations? It seems as if everyone is quick to blame racism for all of our problems, and their solution, it's looking like the only solution they can come up with is paying reparations. And that goes for any and all issues, including the COVID-19 pandemic. And for our top story of the week, professors across the nation were celebrating Rush Limbaugh's death when he sadly passed away on Wednesday at the age of 70. Let's take a look at what a couple of professors had to say on Twitter after the news broke that Limbaugh had passed away. Drew McKevitt, a professor at Louisiana Tech, tweeted, quote, "Rush Limbaugh is dead, and I was taught that if you don't have anything nice to say about someone, then you should point out that they were a massive piece of shit." Another professor at Yale University's law school, Scott Shapiro, tweeted, quote, "I wouldn't say I was happy that Rush Limbaugh died. It's more like euphoria." He's since deleted the tweet. Jared Yates Sexton, a professor at Georgia Southern University, tweeted, quote, "Rush Limbaugh was one of the most harmful and poisonous people in the modern United States of America. His pursuit of wealth and power hurt untold numbers of people and wrought incalculable damage to politics as a public good, society as a whole, and the planet itself." And this last one is really heartfelt. Assistant professor at the Pratt Institute, Ryan Devlin, tweeted a gif of a body thrown into a dumpster. The tweet has since been deleted. Regardless of whether someone believes and agrees with what Rush Limbaugh had to say, it is in no way acceptable to celebrate the death of a human being. And I also find it ironic how the left, who calls themselves the party of love and tolerance, are the first ones to rejoice when someone passes away. These professors are letting their political divisiveness get in the way of their human decency. First and foremost, the left needs to learn how to be human. What kind of image is this creating for our higher education institutions? Professors, those people who are supposed to be teaching and educating the next generation of leaders, are the first ones to celebrate the death of a human being. What kind of message does this send to their students? Are they just going to think that if you don't agree with someone, it's okay to celebrate when they pass away? Flashback a couple of years ago, professors were celebrating the death of Barbara Bush on social media. Yes, our nation is politically divided. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. But what our nation needs the most right now is unity, and that unity is going to come from sympathy and basic human emotions. No human being in their right mind would celebrate the death of another person, no matter who that person is and no matter their political ideology. Those are all the top stories we have for you today. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and share this video with someone who you think may need to hear about these stories. Make sure you're following us at Campus Reform on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to keep up to date with all of the college craziness happening across the nation. We'll be back next week with another episode, but for now, I'm Ophelie Jacobson. Thanks for watching.